Buenas noches a todos. Welcome back to Tom Plays EU4 for absolute beginners. Looks like the Protestant Reformation just started. It doesn't affect us as much as most people. Oh, Moroccan rebels have come as well. Can I unmothball this? Because it might help in the battle. Oh well, that's going to be a nice easy uprising to deal with then. Let's just speed that up. So I might move this army up to help with Aragon's upcoming uprising in that case, assuming I don't have any others coming up anytime soon. Provincial unrest. No, we've got some Kabila separatists, but they're not coming quickly. So, not sure where the Aragonese rebels are coming, but maybe if I move to, I should move to Toledo, because that's reasonably close. And that is our capital. Getting closer to getting our cause all dealt with. Just need this castle to fall, really. There we go, we've finished converting Granada. Gonna move these guys back over here to support this army. Going to start coring Tlemcen, and that should be it. How's our religious unity? Not great, admittedly. So we could start trying to do that. The problem is it costs money that I don't believe we currently have. So, excellent. Let's mothball all our forts. And where do we stand on money? We haven't quite finished coring yet. But I think we definitely need to reduce army maintenance to start with. This general needs to go to over here. Oh no, hang on, I think it's the Conquistador. He's a 2-star general. Okay. So it's going to cost us more while we're recovering troops, which is going to happen slower now we're not fully maintaining the army. Our loans are costing us money. The faster we could pay those off, the better. However, even though it's going to make things worse in some ways, I'm going to build a workshop. So the best place to build one is a place called Gante, which I'm actually not that familiar with, I think because it's up here. There we go. Apparently that is the best place we could build one. So that should give us a bit of extra currency. We have our trade ships happily working away. Just wondering if there's anything else we can actually do. We can obviously try and make some more money as soon as we get a papal favour. But yeah, and beyond reducing our support for the army, I don't think there's much else we can do to stem the flow. So, lost our Conquistador. So I'm going to hire another one. Horrible feeling is not going to be as good, but what can you do? Oh no, I'm wrong. A very good Conquistador. I suppose we could reduce our support for the colonies. Reluctant to do that, I have to say. Colonial maintenance, in theory we could take all the way back to 0. Let's just leave it as is for a bit, so we've at least reduced the flow of money going out. The workshop should help a bit. Suppose we could build more workshops. It's a little bit of a speculate to accumulate, is this? But we do at least have the advantage that any workshops we're building now will be in the best possible places. little concerned that the best places seem to be up here, because I don't honestly feel like we have very good control over this area. But nonetheless, remember we've also got a mission to build buildings, so we need 5 workshops to fulfill that mission, and we'll probably get some benefits from it. Problem is, I don't necessarily mind getting additional loans. The main concern is the actual income, the balance, which way that's going. So we have an advisor who's helping us to reduce inflation, so that will help a bit. We can't afford to reduce army maintenance to the point... Oh, actually, we might be able to reduce this now. Can't reduce army maintenance to the point where we lose battles against the uprisings in colonies. Okay, we have lost our papal control, which is not going to help. We also lost an advisor, I think the one who was reducing our inflation, so that's now going up again. So we need to think very carefully about whether this advisor is worth it. I think they are, because it's a national tax modifier. So that will probably actually help. Might hold off on the papal influence, simply because we could do the papal favour as soon as possible. Okay, musket or bow. So as the guns are coming out, there's an argument, and some veteran army archers are trying to convince us that we should keep archery as a primary role. Now, army tradition is a terrible thing to lose, so I am going to accept the additional military cost until Juana's death. Might cause us an issue, but not as much as I think the loss of tradition would have caused. Assimilate some natives, which is good. Lost another advisor, and the Aragonese noble rebels. Okay, they seem a bit much. So I'm going to give this army the good conquistador general, and I'm going to bring our army maintenance back up to the top again. Can we reduce this again? Apparently not. So I mean, it's bad, but we're not losing money as fast as we were. Trade efficiency should pay for itself. Should. I may turn out to be wrong there. And I also want to build one last workshop. So this one needs to go in Hollanda. Lost the cardinal in administration, which is unfortunate. I think this is all basically down to the English Channel trade node, because these countries are part of it. Actually, Brabanter isn't. Brabanter's part of Champagne. Oh well. I do wonder if we should have some marketplaces here. Maybe even a merchant collecting from trade. 18% is what we have. It's just worth so much, this trade node. But we'll see. I suppose we could try experimenting with traders, but I might wait until we get one, because I think we should be about to as part of our administrative ideas, which will help us with the money a little. I'm going to move our troops next to the... Actually, we may as well just move there. What I'm basically hoping is these noble rebels will probably move here. If we then attack them, I don't know if we're crossing a river, which can help. You do need to watch yourself for crossing a river to attack people. Gives a terrain disadvantage. But I'm hoping, because this army's here, when they see us attack, they will join in. Because we are, after all, helping them. So I just need this army to move. As soon as they do, there's nowhere else they can go. Come on guys, hurry up, we're losing money. Alright, let's go for it. In theory, we could beat them single-handed. And I'm kind of expecting these guys to join in. Plus they may just not get here in time. Nope, they didn't. Well guys, you owe us. Big time. Let's reduce army maintenance again. Almost got it down to positive money, which is brilliant, because that means as soon as we get administrative power, just make sure all the forts are mothballed. They are. I think we're actually going to be able to pull this back, which is good. Plus we've got all these workshops that we're building. I don't know if some of them have already been built, but that should help things enormously. The only problem we are going to have is that we're going to end up gaining even more colonists. Next national idea, I think, is another... oh no it isn't. So we've got a bit before we get another colonist. So we could do it getting rid of all the loans before the next colonists come along. Which will be interesting. Okay, brilliant. Progress. Probably not going to make for the most interesting episode, but it is progress nonetheless. In fact, what I might do... oh no, got an additional merchant. Brilliant. Right, so what we need to do now is work out where to put this merchant. So there are a lot of theories on this. Like, one I did mention is that you should only ever collect trade in your home node. But I tend to go with the proof is in the pudding, so we're going to keep an eye on our balance and try sending the merchant to a few places. So I'm going to start with sending them to collect trade this time in Sevilla. That's our home trade node. So when you send the merchant, you've got two options. This is grayed out. So you see our merchants are already here, so we could reassign them. But in this case, I want to collect from trade in Sevilla. So they're going to be on the way. If we just look at the trade map. Oh, actually, he appears instantly. But we're not seeing any results yet, because we're still on roughly the same money that we were on before we sent them. France are making claims, can't do anything about that. I guess we could try and improve relations with France again. See if we can get them to stop rivaling us. So I'm expecting at some point this money to change. Okay, so it's improved, but it hasn't improved by much, I have to say. We have apparently... oh, we've fulfilled the build buildings mission. So that has given us more income and some extra 50 administrative power. Which is great. That should be enough to make our money... okay, not quite positive, but it's made a difference. Okay, so we've got maybe -1 with collecting trade from Sevilla. So how about if instead we sent someone to collect trade in the English Channel? So what we do here is we've chosen the English Channel, we're going to send a merchant there, we decide which one to send, and we decide whether we want them to transfer trade power or collect from trade. So I'm going to select this merchant who's currently collecting from trade in Sevilla, tell him to collect from trade in the English Channel. So that is all the way up here. We're going to look at our money again. It might go down while he's en route. So the one we want to remember is this -1, effectively, which is what we had when he was collecting in Sevilla. And now amazingly, it's gone up positive. So apparently collecting from trade in the English Channel is actually more valuable than collecting from trade in our home trade node. So it's actually worth having a merchant here. I think I might actually leave him there. Quite happy with that. Might try further experiments if we find ourselves losing money again. But for the time being, I think that's a good place to start from. We're also about to get a papal favour, so maybe that can help even further. Oh, this is even better. We've finished coring, I think, the last province I needed to be cored. So that has actually given us enough money to support another colonist, which is brilliant. Okay, translate a book into our Bible. Now that is against the law, and because most countries are still Catholic, there's only Aachen, I think, we will increase everyone's opinion of us if we go ahead and burn him and his books. So it's horrible, but we're going to do it. It's also in character, because we're very much a loyal Catholic nation. Okay, so now we're actually gaining money. I might consider trying to increase our religious unity by sending another missionary out. So I think Melilla, it'll take us, sorry, back to political map. It'll take us 128 days, but it'll only cost, oh actually no, this one is even cheaper. Both of these are cheaper. Let's do Tangier. So we do have to be alert for possible uprisings from religious zealots. But right now our only real concern is this one. Kabila separatists, they're going to arise in Arguin, which is where? Okay, so it's worth mentioning this now. We haven't really had cause to use this before because the country isn't that big, so usually you can find places if you need to. But if you ever cannot find a country, or you just want to find it quickly, if you press the F key on your keyboard, F for find, you can you get this window popping up and you can just type in the name. This is it. Right, that's a problem. That is a problem. I am going to need to ship as many of my army there as I possibly can. As quickly as I possibly can. And we have too many military leaders. I'm not too worried about that because we're currently at such a disadvantage with military tech because we're so far ahead that I know it's only going to get worse, but then this will get better as other people catch up. So I'm not too worried. You can see the institution is spreading quite nicely in our country. We still can't actually embrace it. We need more money, so we are going to have to try to save some money up. So we desperately do need that positive money sorting out. But at the same time, it will become cheaper the more it spreads, and very few other countries even have made a start on it yet. So it's all good, even though Portugal kind of started off, which isn't a surprise because they were doing way more colonising than anybody else. It has worked to our benefit because we're friendly with them, we share a massive land border with them, so it's just creeping across is the new technology. Okay, this is just a random event that you can always get, and it just harms us in terms of money, which is unfortunate, but we just have to live with it. That's going to put us down a bit, but we've still got positive money. We have a missionary active, which is going to help with our religious unity. So it's all good, really. Things are going comparatively well. Still expecting this uprising. I don't know whether to move our army there now so they're ready for it. I think I will, even though it might delay the uprising. It's probably still safer. 12,000 is probably enough with the general. But I suppose if we're moving there early anyway, maybe we should just ship the entire army across. The only thing that worries me is if it holds it up enough that another uprising starts brewing and ends up happening first. I guess we'll see. Hopefully it's too far advanced for us to actually stop it, and it's going to happen anyway. And we also have some diplomats sitting idle, which is pointless. Let's improve relations with France, improve relations with Provence because they keep spying on us, and I'm going to improve relations with England because we haven't done that for a while. I think we're actually rivaled with England. We are, but nonetheless, don't mind trying to improve relationships with them anyway. Okay, you can board the Navy ships and we'll ship you over to help with the uprising. And right, so things are going okay. We're working on our colonies, which is great. Still horribly behind Portugal on the battle for the Caribbean. I think what we're probably going to end up doing is just ceding this island completely, and we're going to try and take the Cuban island, and we'll just have to make do with that, which is a shame, but we'll see. I mean, it might be that we still don't have the colonial range even when we finish this colony to reach the Cuban island, in which case we'll probably start here and then move across, because these are still Caribbean islands. Haven't really got into it much yet, but our primary goal is to get 5 provinces, and our secondary goal, which I would like to achieve, is to get 10. There's quite a lot of provinces on Cuba itself, but we've got to bear in mind that Portugal is also going to be after them as soon as they've finished over here, so we'll just have to do the best we can. Get as many provinces as we can possibly manage. Okay, so with that in mind, let's start exploring. Because we still haven't finished that, so I'm going to start heading up the coast. So we don't have to travel as far to reach now. Oh, I'll think about it. We've got an option for papal favour. So, how many loans do we have now? 6. I think that's enough to make it worth having forgive usury. Let's go for that one. So that basically helps with loans. It reduces the inflation as well and the interest per annum, so that should push our money up a bit. So the plan is now to pay off these loans as fast as we can. Looks like even the cheapest are about 300, so we've got a way to go yet. Thinking about it, let's just combine these armies so they're all one army under the general. Probably give us our best chance. I think that's it for now. We're just going to keep exploring. Let's discover all about the Caribbean. Okay, one of our provinces has turned Protestant. It's to be expected, actually. I'd forgotten, but we do have a lot of provinces now close to where Protestantism began. So our missionaries may have their work cut out, and it's not going to help our religious unity at all. I still don't want to try to fund more than one missionary at a time, though. I suppose we may need to break from tradition at some point and maybe try and take humanist ideas. Although, to be honest, as a colonial nation, I think economic ideas might be necessary. So we'll just see how it goes. Start heading back, but I'll go via here. Okay, what do we have here? Casa de Contratación. De Contratación was established. Right, so this basically helps with colonisation. You're not actually given a choice, but it's a general plus. Here's the thing, even though Portugal has got some advantage of colonisation, mostly the head start, honestly, Castile has a lot of advantages as well. As does Spain once we form it. Okay, I'm going to tell you to head back to the colony now, so you can rest up, get healed. Pleased to see our manpower's finally recovering. Who knows, maybe we could even think about another war. Our marriage with Portugal has ended. Let's see. Are we improving relations with France? So let's put a stop to that temporarily. Going to ask for another royal marriage with Portugal. I see they're having issues with pretender rebels. As at the moment, they have no legal heir. So apparently if our monarch dies, there'll be a succession war between us and England, which will be interesting. Oh, although it looks like if the Pretender army wins, we will get something. Regency for Alfonso von Habsburg. Well, we'll see. Hopefully we won't have to fight a war for it, whatever it is, in the end. And you can go back to improving relations with France. Right. So how are we doing? 779 settlers and we need 1,000. So we are getting there very slowly. So let's just heal up these boats. Head off for another round of exploration. We've actually gained a new technology. Docks, right. I'm a little disinclined to go for it because I would much rather get the idea, which gives us a better settler chance. The nice thing is, with technology, the further behind your neighbours you are, the less it costs. Well, this is interesting. Some of our citizens decided to strike out and found a new colony. Alcantara. 200 settlers. Or we can gain 50 population in an existing one. Right, so this is going to cost the earth, but I'm not going to stop them because we're very close to finishing. So let's do it. The one problem that we are going to have is actually defending said colony. I'm going to need to pick up this army over here and move them across, I think. At least temporarily. Just hope we get there in time. If there was an uprising, I suppose if there is an uprising I can move the army across. I don't have to be in situ. I just prefer them to be because then I can ignore the alerts about uprisings. Right, we're going to take this, 3 colonies. So yeah, with everything except military power, it can actually be advantageous to fall behind your neighbours in technology. Military power is too risky, so we're still way ahead here, which is good. But yeah, diplomatic power, basically we can get the diplomatic ideas which cost the same no matter what, and then we should have a massive bonus to getting the technologies. So I'm just going to go ahead with that. I'm going to finish the idea group first and then we'll start getting diplomatic technology. It is useful to us because it will help with things like boats and I think maybe colonial range. But at the same time, not as useful as exploration ideas. Right, there we go. So I'm going to have to move you across to fight them, which is fine. I'm going to load you onto the boats. Put you down here. So this is going to possibly hold us up even further. What's basically going to happen is we will send a colonist to Alcantara as soon as we can, because they currently don't have one. So as a colony they're not going to improve as fast. And also, I think I did mention this before, but the colonial maintenance has gone up to 8. Because we've got 3 colonies now and we only have the capacity for 2. Really, we've only got 2 colonists. So the 3rd colony goes up, says quadratically. It basically means this extra colony is costing us 4 instead of 2. And if we had a 4th colony, it would cost us 8. So that would absolutely kill us. At the same time, it gave us 200 settlers instead of 50. So it was well worth it, especially since as soon as one of these colonies finishes, we can send the colonist across, the costs will come down, and it will be well worth it. It'll give us a better foothold in South America. Obviously it will hold us up a little bit more again with the Caribbean, which we don't want, but it was a good opportunity, and you need to jump on good opportunities when you can. If our colonies had only just started, I probably wouldn't have gone for it. Okay, I'm not going to ask for more men for a bit anyway, so it's not a big issue. Oh. Finding the navy's here. Actually, I might just leave him there for now. Finished improving relations with France. We have lost Royal Marriage of Austria. Austria's emperor again. The emperor's managed to call for Reich reform. Okay, so I mean it's a little dangerous because if we're holding any imperial territory, which we may be now, they have a reason to attack us. On the other hand, the Emperor is Austria and they are our allies, so hopefully we'll be fine. I'm going to ask for another royal marriage with them. Got another idea. Faster colonists, yes please. And we're getting a new Castilian idea, which is giving us more production efficiency, which is great. Should help our money a little. We're still negative, but that's entirely because of this extra colony. So we're basically just waiting for this colony to finish with bated breath. We also can put our 5 papal influence in now to give us a chance of becoming the next papal controller, just in case. Another crusade against Tunis, unless it's the same one. And I'm guessing our explorer has probably recovered now. So, going to do some more exploring. I feel this might just be the one province and then we'll be backtracking. Oh no. Okay, there I am displaying my ignorance of American geography. Of course it isn't. It's Cuba, isn't it? It's an island. Obviously there's going to be water all around it. Well, that's good. It feels worth coming over here. Gulf of Mexico, which is another point. A few nations here. It's interesting. Does that mean there's actually a nation on Panama? Oh no, Panama's down here. Right, of course. Yeah. It's just me forgetting everything. Got some natives assimilated. That colony is growing much faster than usual. I just feel like I should put a colonist there instead. I see we've got 3 diplomats again, but I think I'll send the ships back after this, so I'll deal with that then. Settlements under attack, should be fine. Let's go move to here now, slightly closer as a base. Right, let's let's do our vassals. So, I do Naples again. Use this, military access from the Papal State, no problem. In fact, I might even improve relations with the Papal State. See, Austria has grown a fair bit. They basically swallowed Venice and half of Bosnia and Serbia and Ragusa. Ottomans haven't, I suppose they've grown a bit actually. Hungary is almost dead. Great, Bohemia's swallowed most of Hungary. Quite an unusual game. Oh my goodness. Kildare has swallowed half of Ireland. That's impressive. So if you didn't notice earlier when I was looking for people to royal marry, Ireland in this game tends to be a bunch of very, one or two province states, which makes it quite easy for the English to take them usually. But in this case, Kildare has managed to... England is allied with... Oh no, Kildare's allied with France. Oh, nice one, Kildare. That might keep the English out. Scotland's also allied with France. I think England's having a rather bad game. Not complaining. Right. So, where are we up to? Basically, we need this colony to finish, although it nearly has, which is good. Let's just speed up until that happens. Check out uprisings as well, just in case there's another one coming along that I haven't seen. There we go. Okay, that's excellent, and we can recover our diplomat from Naples. Right, so first let's send the colonist here. In some ways it's not ideal because we could have sent a colonist to the Caribbean at this point, though unfortunately not to this part of the Caribbean, or this part. So, closest we could send them would have been one of these nations here. Yeah, we could send them to here at least. So we'll probably do that, but I'm not going to do it until this colony finishes, because I don't want to keep losing money. So hopefully we should be gaining money again now, which will help enormously. Still got too many military leaders. Okay. So to improve relations with Navarre. Did we do Aragon already? I don't think we did, but our relations are pretty good with Aragon, so I don't need to worry. It is worth a lot of the time improving relations with your vassals and junior partners. It's all about keeping them happy. One thing I haven't looked at is this screen here. In fact, just before we do, let's just check the free money point screen, because I think we can get some free money. So our next demand diplomatic power will be in 1526, which is way in the future, so we can ask for money. And they go to 40% but no lower, which is fine. Certainly use the extra money. In fact, I may... Oh no, we can probably pay off a loan soon, can't we? So let's not build a workshop, let's pay off a loan instead. But yeah, one thing we haven't looked at is this screen here, subjects. So this shows all the subject nations we've got of various kinds. Some are personal unions, so junior partners in personal unions. One, Kabylia, is a vassal, so it sort of tells you what the difference is. We're also going to have some colonial nations, which are similar but different again to all of these. Okay, I mean the big difference for me, the thing I like about them, is they all join in our wars, which I find extremely valuable. It's always nice to have help wherever you are in the world. So yeah, it's only a shame we don't have a vassal up here somewhere. We don't necessarily help with uprisings, or sometimes we do, but not always, so we still need to keep an eye on our uprisings. But yeah, it's definitely worth keeping them happy, because if you look at the personal union, it's possible for them to break. I think this is if their opinion of us goes negative. If a ruler dies, they will actually break free. So we should make sure that their opinion of us is always positive. There's also a concept called a liberty desire, which you don't want to get above 50% if you can avoid it. One way to avoid it is to keep their opinion of you high. So that's one reason why I'm doing it. So it looks like we're not getting money from the royal marriages, the junior partners, but we are getting money from the vassal. So there you go. You do get money from colonial nations, which is probably worth me going into, but maybe we'll do that next episode now, because I think we're just about at time. So yeah, I'll just check this. Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on Moroccan separatists soon. This is the problem, you see. We've more or less stopped this uprising in its tracks, but it hasn't gone away, it's still waiting, whereas the Moroccan uprising is still coming. So it's a problem, definitely a problem. Anyway, we'll stop it there for now, and we will deal with that next time. I'll see you then.